Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Longley's Line Podcast. I am your host, Stephen Longley. Please remember to follow us on any social media, my personal Stephen Longley, and the podcast page at Longley's Line. You can find it on all platforms where you get your podcasts, and also follow us now on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, we have my first guest here today, Fidel Salas. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Before we get going on anything, what are your social media so everybody can follow you?
Yeah, I'm really active on Instagram, tacos and food. Tacos, letter N, and then food. Facebook, not on TikTok yet, and not on YouTube yet. But, that's the plan.
Yeah, getting there.
Getting there, yeah.
So to start off, where are you from originally?
Yeah, so I was born in Lancaster, California.
Okay.
If anyone knows about Lancaster, it is a total shithole.
Yes.
It might be a little different now, but it's literally just desert and trailer parks. And then from there, kind of with the family, migrated to Oxnard, kind of Malibu area. Not that they lived in Malibu, but that's the closest city from Malibu. A lot of people don't know where Oxnard is.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Reno when I was 5, and I've been in Reno ever since.
Nice. One little fun story about Lancaster. Fast 7 from the Fast and Furious, they recorded the opening race wars in Lancaster.
No shit.
I only know that because I was an extra in that.
Whoa, in Race Wars?
Uh-huh. In the race wars, I was one of the people just kind of walking around. So I got to say something to Vin Diesel, and Michelle Rodriguez was from me to the door. She was that far away. It was pretty sweet.
That's sick. I'm a total car nut. So anything Fast and Furious, I'm super about. Anything after the 4th, 5th film, I'm just okay, just cut it. Dude.
Now they're going to the moon and stuff.
Come on.
We could have stopped, but whatever.
Yeah.
So you're in Reno. You go to high school. When you were a kid, what did you want to do for a living?
Yeah, it's a funny story. When I was a kid, so my parents, they kind of started a little business here when they got to Reno. They started a plastering company.
Okay.
So it's stucco. It's basically cement on exterior walls of homes and commercial buildings. And it was just my mom and my dad.
Oh, wow.
And then it grew to a point where they were doing big, massive tract home developments, big industrial parks, commercial strip malls. Right. They had a yard. They have tons of employees. And growing up, seeing this, I was like, I want to be a fucking business owner.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work for anyone. I want to be a business owner. But funny thing is when I was growing up, my parents would watch a lot of novelas, Mexican soap operas. And one of them was this cowboy Mexican dude that drove a big red semi. He was just the coolest dude. Every town he went to, there was chicks, there was money. He was just a shit. So, when you get asked when you're in kindergarten or first grade, what do you want to be when you grow up? I put truck driver. And then as I grew up, I'm they don't go as fast as fast cars. I don't want to be a truck driver anymore.
It's like Smokey and the Bandit, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's this guy is the coolest guy that there is.
Yeah.
He's a truck driver.
Yeah.
They make it look so cool.
Yeah. So that didn't, I'd never pursued that. But just having that inspiration from my parents, I was business owner is the way to go.
Yeah.
And that kind of was a detriment to my schooling because I never cared about school.
Yeah.
I said, fuck homework. I don't understand why I got to do stuff when I'm not at school.
Yeah.
Never turned in homework. Never really participated. I was always a person asking questions why? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why are we solving for this? So I was almost not a bad kid, but just a really class clown and just kind of acting out.
Right.
But now, years later, those questions of asking why is super important when dealing with clients.
Yeah.
And that's something that that hopefully people understand. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to understand why to solve for the bigger problem.
So then while you're in high school is the last thing on your mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're just ready to get out of here. When you're in high school, even after, did you think about what you wanted to pursue, or just kind of, I'm ready to stop going to school every day and
Yeah,
do
so
something different?
funny story. When I was in high school, my GPA average was like barely 1.5, like 1.5.
Yeah.
Not because I was dumb. I just didn't really care about
Wasn't
school.
doing anything, yeah.
And it got to a point where graduation came, and they're like, "You're not going to graduate. You need all these extra credits."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Well, what credits are those? They're all electives." So I was a super senior, and I did another semester to graduate, and it was like PE, weights, ceramics, art, foods. Like, I was just like going to school to have fun.
Yeah, all the easy stuff.
Yeah. But towards the end of high school, I was always creative, and I decided to go in graphic design. I was
Okay.
like, let me do something creative. Let me do something fun. And I think it was like a year off of school. And then I went to a local community college here in town, Team CC. And I went to their graphics communication program. And before that, I was playing video games, and I kind of understood the fundamentals of like Adobe Photoshop, Premiere, and I ripped those like off of LimeWire back in the day.
Yeah,
You know, so
given all the viruses to
yeah,
your computer.
yeah.
I know how it goes.
So when I went to Team CC, I was like, sick. Like, I know how to use these programs, the capabilities that I knew.
Right.
So it was like very fun having like an actual instructor instructing you on graphic design. And I thought I wanted to do graphic design.
Yeah.
But the more that I was taught in school of how to learn graphic design, the more I understood like somewhat the teacher's intention that when you learn graphic design, you're going to get a job.
Yeah.
And you're going to graphic design for a company. And that was like a total turnoff. I was like, I don't want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, I understand you're teaching like this really sought after career path, but you're teaching it in a way where you're not showing the person that there's another side of not just being a worker, but being an entrepreneur.
Right.
So I did a semester of that, and I was like, well, fuck this.
Yeah. It was more of we're trying to give you the tools for you to work for somebody, not for you to take this and make your own
1,000%.
kind of business.
Yeah.
So then after you kind of realize that's not where you want to be, you still have that entrepreneurial kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Where'd you go from there? What'd you do after that?
Yeah. So after that, I just kind of took it easy. I worked at Best Buy for like the longest time, like 5 years or so. I was in a relationship at a point where their parents were very like career driven government employees.
Okay.
And they introduced me to kind of government employment. And that's a cush ass job. Like, you're getting paid bank to, I wouldn't say do a lot, but less than others, I guess you would say, which is kind of like a fucked up stigma. But some people do work a lot, some people don't. There's a lot of red tape, so you can't really expose the people that work less than in those industries. So anyways, I was like super cush. I was fine. And mind you, let me go back like a long time ago. My business partner now is Mike Lucido, and I met him in 6th grade.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, a long time ago. And if anyone knows Mike, he is insanely talented.
Yeah.
He's super creative. He just thinks very differently.
You'll see a lot of his artwork kind of around.
Yeah, there's nothing that he won't do. Whether like whatever medium that is, he'll just like take a stab at it, and then he'll kill it.
Yeah.
Which is like, fuck, damn, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah.
But in 6th grade, we were skating to school together. I used to skateboard. Not that I'm any good. And then we used to like rake leaves for people for money. And then so we kind of lost contact in middle school, and then through high school, because he went to a different middle school, I went to a different high school. And then after high school, we met back up at Team CC in the graphics communication program, which was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then we just like became again inseparable best friends. And then during that time, when I'm kind of going through my relationship, the government job, blah, 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 he works at the school district doing some other stuff. We decided to make a clothing brand called Rat Thief.
Okay.
And that's where we allowed like us to be creative. Like, no one's telling us anything to do. It's just us. And that's how we experimented with like photography, videography, social media content.
Right.
We're doing it for ourselves. We're having fun, and like people are loving it. They're loving the photos, the videos. We did little pop-ups in Midtown, and that kind of just grew us to a point where people were asking us for photos for their businesses.
Okay.
And then it came to a point as we have our normal jobs that we're fulfilling clients' needs and not really like our own clothing brand. Because you can only make so much with clothing. Like you really have to hit it hard and be consistent. But when a client's like, yo, I'll pay you $1,000 for a video, you're like, well, fuck, dude. Like, yeah,
why not?
Yeah. So that kind of transitioned us to start doing photography, videography, and less of a clothing brand. And then slowly get out of our normal jobs, which that was a whole difficult, painful process.
Yeah. It's hard when you find what you want to do, know that you can actually do it, but then making that jump to say, this is what I'm going to do full time.
Oh, yeah.
And when did that kind of happen? Was it still at that point where now you're getting these clients reaching out to you saying, you know, I'll give you XYZ to make these videos, and then you were like, but I've got a shift next Tuesday. I can't do that. When did you kind of say it's time?
Yeah. So my buddy Mike, he was fortunate enough he was working at the sheriff's office at the time, doing their photo and video. Literally, that's a position at the sheriff's office. Like run around, make cool shit.
Yeah.
Like awesome. Dream job. So he did that for a few years. Someone approached him to do to hire him as a full-time, part-time freelance photographer, videographer for a startup boxing company.
Okay.
They were going to be streamed. It was going to be like a amateur professional boxing.
Try to rival
kind of thing.
the UFC sort of.
Kind of like that.
deal,
Yeah. Be on Apple TV and streaming boxes.
Sure.
And Mike's like, dude, this is my out. Like that I can get paid to learn more and have more free time to do this thing on the side. And he ran with it. So that was a year prior when I left my job. I was also at government employee at the county, but not at the sheriff's office, more of administration.
Yeah.
And a year later passes. We're doing side gigs on weekends, evenings. I'm requesting days off to go shoot projects.
Yeah.
Like it'd be middle of summer. I'll get 2 days off. I'll be up in Tahoe doing a shoot for Visit North Lake Tahoe with Mike. And I'm like, dude, this is life. Like, I don't want to be in a box 9 to 5, like wake up one day and 20 years pass. Like this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I knew that. I knew that as soon as like we started being creative with our clothing brand. So a year passes. Now it's, and mind you, this is like years in the making. This is probably like 3-4 years of just being creative, doing side projects, doing weddings, family shoots, you fucking name it. Like, but it hasn't got to the level where we were doing it full time.
Right. Still more side gigs.
Yeah. And people knew us as side things. Like a big corporation wasn't like, yo, we need this PSA. They didn't know us.
Yeah.
So a few years of that was super rough because all your time is kind of taken up with your job, and then your relationship suffers and you miss birthdays and weekends and things like that. But a year later, the beginning of 2020, Mike calls me and he's like, dude, you got to get the fuck out of there. I am so slammed. And like our dynamic is I'm very like administrative and creative, and he's like all creative.
Right.
Because like he like can't balance a fucking checkbook to save his life.
Yeah. Where it's like, oh, let's do it now.
Yeah. And then I can't come up with like very unique creative ideas because I'm very like numbers driven. So it's like it just works really well. So he's like, dude, you got to get the fuck out of there. I'm fucking drowning. So as he's saying that, I'm like writing an email from my county computer to another county department saying, yeah, let's schedule a shoot soon. And also they're asking me like, should I be using this email or something different? I'm like, use my business email. And then that's when I knew I was like, okay, like this could become a thing. I got to get the fuck out of here, which was super funny. And then what ended up happening? I gave my 30 days at the county, which is super generous. I love the county. I love government employment. I think there's a lot of stuff that they do that people don't see. And I take that to heart. So anyways, give my 30 days. There's only rumors of the pandemic happening. Like when you hear shit happening in China, you're like, oh, okay, like they always got shit going on. Yeah, they got some bird flu, they got whatever, like, fuck, sucks to be them. fucking close to my 30 days running out, then there's rumors of us going in lockdown. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm fucked. So I give my 30 days. I'm unemployed. A week later, lockdown happens. All our projects go to a halt.
Yeah.
And these projects are barely staying us afloat in terms of like our livable rent, car payments, things like that. And I'm just fucking freaking out. I'm like, dude, this is fucking shitty, because they're saying only essential people could be working right now. And like, who the fuck thinks a photo and video guy is essential?
Yeah.
There's no way. Week later goes by. I have this like mini panic attack I experienced for the first time ever. And I'm not the person to have a panic attack.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, like shit's hitting the fan. I get a text from my ex-father-in-law at the time, and he like literally begs me in a text message. He's like, I'm proud of you. I love you. I respect what you're doing, but you should really ask for your job back. It's not looking too good out there. And then it just came to a point where I was like, fuck it. Like, what do I have to lose? Like, just go all in.
Yeah.
So I went all in, texting him back, thank you, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing my own thing. And that week later that passed from when I left the lockdown, we started getting phone calls from like local government agencies.
Yeah.
We got the Reno PD saying, hey, we heard about you guys. We need a PSA done. We need to encourage people to mask up and stay home. I'm like, if the cops are telling me I can work, then I think we're good.
Yeah.
And then after that, the fire department, hey, we want to encourage people to mask up and that we're there for them and we're here to blah, blah, blah. Fuck, okay, cool.
You got it, sure.
And then a health PSA, you know, there's these grants that if you don't use them, you lose them regardless if there's a pandemic or not.
Right.
So then we did like this biking to work thing after the lockdown happened. And it was just like this snowball effect, which people started noticing us as the guys, not just for fun stuff, but for like PSAs and high commercial
Actual
quality,
professional
professional
work.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that felt good. You know, it felt good taking that chance. And there's people that you've never met before that are trusting you for some public announcement video thing. So yeah, that was a really major turning point.
Which is the best part about word of mouth, when you come through, show that you can actually do it.
Yeah.
And then one person that says it sees, and then another person's like, huh,
Yeah.
that looks good. And it brings people together, like cops and firefighters. We know what their beef is, but they
Yeah.
saw the cops, they've got something good. So the firefighters reached out, and then everyone else is like, this is really good work.
Yeah.
Make something that catapults you.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
And I think one of the things that I'm now starting to learn that really just helped us get there of the word of mouth is we're always posting on social.
Yeah.
Whether, you know, I post a little less on my feed, but it's always the stories and people, like, you never know who's watching, who's looking. So as we're building this kind of side gig in business, we're always posting what we're doing. So we have almost like proof that we have tangible things that we've done. So when people are like, who are they? Oh yeah, I like their stuff. Call them. And I think if we didn't have that, if we were just kind of behind the scenes, didn't post and just kind of fulfilled needs, if it wasn't that good, people wouldn't refer us.
Right.
Luckily, I believe our stuff is really good and people refer us, but also we have that backing on social. They're like, they're the guys.
Yeah. Not only does your work speak for itself, but then the social media marketing aspect of it is what helps drive that force a little bit.
And it's so funny because we were just doing it for fun. Like sick, look where we're at. We're like at a fire truck, or like, dude, cops. Like, we're just showing people what we do, not even thinking that we're promoting the business at the same time.
Right.
So it's just been a fun ride.
And kind of on that note, with all the stuff that you've done, what's been your either favorite shoot that you've done or favorite like place that a shoot has taken you? Is there any that kind of come to mind that was like, I remember when I did this was awesome?
Yeah, I have two. One is recent, one is kind of a little, maybe 3-4 years ago. That one was for the Visit North Lake Tahoe. It's like an agency that is funded with hotel tax dollars to encourage people to come visit Tahoe and spend fucking money.
Yeah.
And the agency at the time that was doing, I guess, marketing and content for that agency, they reached out to Mike, and it's so weird because Mike did a free job for a local artist, Eric Burke.
Okay.
He did a mural for the land on the Red District before they excavated the concrete. Okay. Eric Burke did a big mural. Eric's like, hey man, can you do this mural? Can you do this video for me? Like, I think it would be cool. I don't know the exact conversation, but that's generally like what Mike told me, and I'm sure it was like that.
Yeah.
Mike's like, yeah, dude, I'll do it for free. Like, sick, because that's just how Mike is. He's just like, no expectations, just like doing cool shit. So he makes this really cool video. The developer of the Red District, he had some tie with the agency that hired us to do the Reno Tahoe shoot. Okay. Anyways, that guy asked Mike, how much do you want for video? I'll fucking do it. Mike throws out a crazy number. At the time was crazy. He's like, $1,000. He's like, sick. Here's a check. He's like, fuck.
Could have got so much more.
Yeah. Because like it's like a multi-million-dollar development.
Yeah.
Which is super funny.
With your brain, you're like, it would be cool. $1,000 right now. And then it's like, shit, I should have added an extra zero or something.
Yeah. Which that's another thing. If you're like a content creator, whatever medium you're in, like push the envelope. Like unless you're not getting no's, then you're probably not charging as much. So it's okay.
Yeah.
But unknown to him, that video that he did for free for Burke, he got paid $1,000. That video was played at the groundbreaking of this multi-million-dollar development with like electeds, the mayor. Oh, wow. It's like a big, like, this is where Midtown is going to start. So it's kind of a big deal. So he got noticed by this Augustine agency that was doing the Reno Tahoe stuff. I don't know where that connection happened, but I think they were working also on the Ranchera development.
Okay.
Or something like that. So anyways, they hit us up to do this Tahoe shoot. It's 2 full days of photography and videography at the same exact time. And they have a massive shot list.
Yeah.
They have like, we need to get early in the morning. We want to do canoeing. We want to do beach stuff. We want to do mountain biking. We want to go to different food spots. We want to drink spots. And they hire all the talent. They have this crazy shot list. And those are the days that I had to request off for my normal job.
Yeah.
So then at that point, I was like, yes, like this is sick. I'm getting paid to be in the water. I'm getting paid to like sip on some drinks and be creative and have fun. So that's like a memorable experience for me. That was one of the best ones. And then I keep trying to find more gigs like that. I'm trying to chase that high, like travel or basically getting paid for fun.
Yeah.
You know, I have many others. Like I did a wedding for a friend, my buddy and I did, Mike and I did, that was in Cabo and that was like all paid for. Awesome. And I was like, dude, yeah, fucking pay for the thing. I'm going. Yeah. And that was a super fun time. The latest one is, I was able to shoot for Gary Vee, Brad Lee, Ed Milet, and some other people that were at this Vegas conference that a local lender put on. And when he first told me like, hey, I'm going to do this big conference, he has a big following. Right. So I like didn't put it past him to put this event on. But when he said like, yeah, I got this certain budget for you guys, I want you guys to come out and just do all the photography. I got all the video taken care of. You guys just do the photos. And we're like, yeah, sure. Like, okay. And then he actually puts in play all these like very huge speakers. And then it just hit me like, oh, fuck. Like, we're going to shoot photos of Gary Vee on stage, of Brad Lee, of Ed Milet. And Mike knows a little bit about him, but I've been following these guys for a while. Sure. You know, they talk a lot about business. They talk a lot about content. So I'm just like starstruck. I'm like,
nerding out over there. Like, this is cool,
dude. Like people would do that for free, you know, if they could just get in that circle, and then we're getting paid to do it. Right. So that was another turning point. Is like, damn, how close can we get to big people with a camera? And then the latest one was back in January, where I took photos of Fabulous. If anyone's remember Fabulous, he was like hot shit at one day. I totally forgot about him.
Yeah, all the millennials here are like, what?
Yeah.
The best.
And it was sick. And it wasn't just like, oh, he's singing on stage, snap, 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 because that was like part of the gig that I had to do for an after party for like this little mastermind thing. Like I got pulled by the manager right before he's walking in through the back to his car, and he's like, I need you to take photos of Fabulous, give me your contact, and I'll get the photos from you, I'll shout you out, or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I don't care, like, fuck it. So it's Fabulous in this stairwell, and I'll send you the photos so you can kind of like see these photos.
Yeah.
The shittiest stairwell in the world. It's like yellow walls, has like blue like railing, the carpet's all nasty and blue. It's just like a shithole. And Fabulous is there, and he's like, all right, you ready? Let's go. Starts posing because he's done it 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
He's like, his grill, his chain, like, and I have at the time with me a 25mm lens and just a top flash. I'm like, I'm super unprepared. So I'm like, this is how it happens. This is how it goes. We'll see. And I just like get in there, and I'm fucking have a couple of drinks in me already, and I'm like, fuck, dude, let's see if it works out. And luckily the photos just turned out fucking amazing. I literally just cropped him out and desaturated every single color behind him. So it's just this nice, clean, white look. And then he's all vibrant and all iced out.
Yeah.
So it just happened to work. I was like, damn, dude, like I shot for Fabulous. Who else can I shoot for?
Right.
And not only like did I shoot for him, cool. Like when people are like, oh, sick, you shot for him? Cool. Like show me the proof, you know?
Yeah.
And then fucking 2 weeks later, I see he tagged me on his profile. He has like 13 million followers. And he tagged me tacos and food. It's like hella funny.
So cool.
Yeah, like first of all, who's this tacos and food? That's the funniest handle ever.
Right.
Just some kid in Reno.
That's not only to do it, but then to get the shout out, it's on your resume.
Dude.
Like and then getting to meet somebody that, you know, all of us here, if we hear the name Fabulous, we're like, really? Really? That's so cool.
Yeah. And it was like totally unprepared.
Yeah.
Like I did not know I was doing that.
Yeah.
And my go-to for event photography, that's some of my best style of photography that I enjoy is event photography, is a 25 fixed millimeter lens.
Yeah.
And people are going to be like, what the fuck? You don't need to do a zoom. You don't have like a backup. I'm like, dude, if I got to get in there, I got to get in there.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, it'll push me to like get up and get the shots I need. So that's one of those things, like I'm unprepared for him. I wish I would have had like a nicer lens, like a 51.2 or 85 or something, but you're always problem solving when you're shooting content.
Yeah.
You know, you're always like, the environment wasn't what you thought.
Yeah.
The talent isn't like enthusiastic as you thought. So you're always problem solving.
And you keep the same line, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because you've got something that's helped you when you're in a time of need. Like it just says, hey, go shoot this real famous person, and you just have your one basic camera. You go, okay, let's do it. Yeah. And you keep it going.
And then the shoot that we did for Gary Vee, Brad, Lee, Ed Milet, all those guys, Mike and I did it, and we were like divide and conquer. Like, let me have a 25, let me have a 50 on me, and we have 285, so I had an 85. He had a 7200. We were like, we know what's expected. Like, we can't fuck this up. Like, bring all the things.
We're going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
So you've got your events. By this time, is your company with Mike, is it established now? So you've got 88 studios going, or does it still take some time to get there?
So I think how it started is when we were, how did this happen? So Mike's Instagram profile, he's very like posting what he does all the time. He's very consistent. Everybody that follows him knows what he does.
Yeah.
He's doing photo, video stuff. Before we got a big job at the health district at the county, we had an opportunity to shoot for American Airlines.
Okay.
And that's like
a big name.
Super crazy.
Yeah.
And mind you, Mike did all the shooting. Like I couldn't get that day off. So he handled it. He got the talent, he shot it, he edited it. It was fucking sick. But how it happened and how it forced us to be established, because we didn't have a business license, we didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we were doing. We were just getting paid to make content. He he's on a flight, I think, during that boxing period where he's flying around and getting boxing content. And he pulls out his phone because United Airlines, there's another delay. He's on the plane and he pulls out his phone. He's like, fuck United Airlines. Like, that's just something that Mike would do. And unknown to him, there was a creative director for American Airlines that has been following him. She DMs him and says, that's why you should be making content for us at American Airlines. And he's like, oh shit, like thinking, should I have been more like proper? Like, should I not have said that? But that just goes back to like authenticity. Like, you just got to be authentic when you're on social. The companies that want to fuck with you, they will.
Yeah.
If they don't, they don't. Like, it's, who cares? Like, there's plenty of people out there. So after that, he got the conversation going. He got the ball rolling. American Airlines like, hey, we got this project coming up. It's going to be for Pride Month. I think it was in July of 19, 18 or 19. Probably 19. And then like, sick. Here's all the requirements. You need your business license. You need your tax ID number. You need blah, blah, blah. And we're like, yeah, we got all that stuff. Google how to get business license, how to get this. And, you know, luckily you get all that stuff in a day or two.
Yeah.
So it was like totally fine. But that pushed us to be really established at that point.
And that got everything. That is what made the plane take off, so to speak. Excuse the pun.
You were waiting for that one.
It's been on my mind all day.
And then another experience that I didn't know about was liability insurance when you're on people's property. So one of my really good friends is James Nava. He's a local realtor in town, and he's a super funny dude. And he's like, I don't care what you guys make. I just want it to be funny. I'm like, sick. Like, make a realtor funny? That's awesome. Because like, they're really not funny.
Yeah.
And one of the projects or his concepts was like, let's visit unique places and show you around. One of them was Bentley Heritage out in Minden. They're a distillery, now closed, but it's like a multi-million-dollar distillery. And I emailed them. I'm like, hey, we're doing like this tour. Can we do a tour and I can film it for my client? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. I just need like liability insurance. I'm like, the fuck is that? Like, they're asking $2 million liability insurance? That sounds expensive. Yeah. What? So I call an insurance person, Audrey Quinn. She's our commercial agent. She's in town. She's awesome. Got to give her a shout out. And she's like, yeah, I think it was like $50 or $100. But now that we have liability insurance, all these other opportunities have come where it's like, where's your liability insurance? What's your tax ID? What's your business license? And like, we're just in there.
We've got it
just
right here.
because of those things.
Yeah.
So
learning on the ball.
Exactly.
As it's going.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you guys are established. It seems the ball's rolling. To kind of finish this up, what's next for you guys? Do you have any big projects that you're excited about? Is there something you're thinking that maybe we want to try going down this avenue? What's next that you can speak of if, you know, maybe there's something that you can't or whatever it is?
You know, we're in 2023. I forget what year it is.
Yeah. Sounds right.
So this year's been fucking super nuts. The half of January was very slow, so we just kind of reached out to everyone, set up some meetings. We rarely reach out to people. We're just kind of fulfilling needs. And we'll wake up one day and like fucking couple months pass. Oh shit, like what the fuck happened? Yeah. And what we've been getting lately is a bunch of humor videos. Like really high produced humor. Like every line of the dialogue is like a different environment. Okay. You know, like one could be on top of a mountain, one can be in the desert, one could be in a room, one could be in a car, and you're visually processing this video with hella humor in it. Yeah. And it's almost like those what is it, Dr. Sasquatch type of style videos. Like that style. Soap. Yeah, exactly. You know, they're very different. So we've done a few of those, and dude, the feedback has been amazing. Yeah. You know, our latest one that they just released, look it up if you can, it's Crawl Reno. Their Mimosa Crawl promo video that we did. Fucking hilarious. That's super funny. There's a local serving company in town where like, you've been served. Yeah. Like he was super cool and wanted to do something different and funny. So we just went super over the top. It's called Reno Carson Messenger Service.
I think I did see it.
It's fucking funny, dude. Yeah. Like who would have thought serving people would be funny? Right. And then we just are wrapping up a commercial now for a phone mount company based out of San Francisco.
Okay.
And he saw one of the funny commercials that we did for Reno Carson Messenger Service, and he's like, I want that.
Yeah.
And he's just been blown away. And it's hard as a creator when you're shooting, you're editing, like you're very hard on yourself.
Yeah.
You'll play it back and be like, fuck, dude, like,
You should have done
I think
that,
it's missing something.
that,
Like, yeah, fuck, I hope he likes it. And he watched it and he was like, fuck, you guys are so good. And we're like, damn, okay, I guess it worked.
Weight
you know,
off your shoulders.
yeah. I guess you just got to take a step back and, you know, let people view it and give an honest opinion about it.
Yeah.
But that's what we're kind of leaning hard right now, is very high end, funny, humor based ads. And these could be for like YouTube pre-roll ads. These could be for Hulu ads. They could be for social media platforms. Yeah. Just like, what would we want to see? What's fun?
Yeah. And you never know, too. One of the long games of it, I guess, is if you have a funny commercial with this certain company, maybe that company grows, and they also get some ad time for the Super Bowl. And then, you know, it doesn't, you don't know where it could go from there. Like,
yeah. And you know, when I watched a Super Bowl recently, there was an ad on there. I think it was a Google ad for YouTube TV. And it was entirely made of raw clips, like people's cell phones. And I was like, there you go. Like, you don't need anything fancy.
Yeah.
You just need like some type of funny or like emotional tie to people.
the right idea.
That's it. So if anyone's out there that was like, I want to do content, I don't have the right equipment, or I can't afford it, like, dude, bust out your phone.
Yeah.
Like, there's people going viral with just their phone.
Get it started. That's all you really need.
I'm almost like, I want to shoot a wedding one day with an iPhone. I just don't know how it's going to end up. But I don't want to be judged when I'm walking around with an iPhone because I don't have a zoom lens. But I think it can be done, though. It can be done.
It's certain. I'm sure with how the cameras are coming out now, I'm sure that's definitely not too far away from now. But on that note, we're going to get you out of here. Fidel, thank you for being here. Thank you for, you know, telling us your story. Before we let you go again, go ahead and promote social medias, websites, anything you want to for the people here to
thank you so
follow
much for having me. I appreciate it. If you guys are in the Reno, Tahoe area, please visit 88studios.com. I'm sure you can put a link on the page for that. Follow me on Tacos and Food. If you guys want some real funny humor and no BS, follow That Lucido Kid. Put his handle on there too, my business partner. He's a fucking riot. Thanks for having me. And then please reach out to me if you have any questions on starting a business and creative, or if you have any creative type of questions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Fidel, thank you for being here. You guys heard him. Follow on all the social medias anywhere you can find. I want to thank you guys for watching once again. I'm Stephen Longley. Follow me on social media as well, Stephen Longley, the Longley's Line podcast, and also brought to you by Lightstyle Studio. There will be a website in the description page. Give everybody a follow, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Cool.